Ooh, oh my God. Can you say what in the hell has been going on? Oh, it is your boy Topher. We are kicking it a little later than usual. And I do apologize. We were supposed to actually have a guest, and the guest had a little bit of technical difficulties, but glad they're okay. And that's what actually matters. So, instead, don't mind me being a little raspy. Don't mind me actually pulling like I've been struggling out of the struggle bus. Okay, my cheeks are everything. It has not been a good time. Trying to adjust this microphone so this way it is everywhere I need to be. All right, where to begin? First off, it's great to be back. We did a little hiatus. We with my other business, I actually had a comic convention, so I got to play with comic books. I've got a wonderful con story for you guys near the end that has been absolutely tremendous for me. It's a good long while joke, but there's also been an abundance that I'm at the con and all of a sudden I'm hearing things drop off the books. Everything's going right out the door. Did somebody say sale? Not Chris. No, we like Chris Sale. Why? Because he's one of my favorite pitchers. That's why. But between everything else, I will tell you, there has been monumental action going on. And to some people, it's satisfaction. To other people, it is absolute lunacy, bull crap, and everything in between. And you know how we like talking about crap. Crap happens on here. So, I want to be nice. I want to be easy. I'm just basically going to break it in and let's get to work, shall we? This. Yep. I'm going with the heavy heat. Why? Because it's there is nothing that stops me from literally talking about absolute daydreamed garbage. And there is a positive and negative to talking about this daydream garbage. Why? Because there's been an abundance of stuff happening with the Bruins. And looking at my notes, looking at everything I'm going to say, was I happy? Listen, I'm sitting in Boxborough, Massachusetts, okay? And I know people, the fuck is a Boxborough? It's a borough that is shaped as a box, okay? And it's where people live. It's where it's where things happen in Massachusetts, okay? Not everybody can be a country bumpkin like some people, so we have to And I love how some people, is it box? B-O-R-O? Is it B-O-R-O-U-G-H? Listen, don't argue with me. Don't just listen. It's Boxborough. Get over your hump. Move along. Who cares what the name is? Okay? I'm on to that. Yeah. Your boy actually learned a couple things. So if you're listening on Spotify, I would gladly accept to the fact you swing over to YouTube and check out a little video because it's been some monumental stuff that I've been doing over here. Breaking this down though, see this? We like this. We want this. We want it to work. And why doesn't it? Did anybody forget to the fact of this wine bag? Look at him. He's taking a crap. He's been doing this. He's been taking a crap, and he also looks like he's about to take an old man nap. But I digress. Whoops. That's not yet. Yeah, your boy learned to shift a couple things, so. But what really did Sweeney do? And why did Sweeney do what he did? Like here's the breakdown of what like I basically got. Here's the big trades. Charlie Coyle went to Colorado. For Casey Middlestat, Will Zealous, and they swapped picks. So Boston sent a 2026 fifth round versus a conditional second round for 2025. First off, I like the deal. I know. A lot of you were like going to sit there and go, "Oh my God, he's going to like bash the Bruins so badly." Like I'm going to see like swelts come out of his eyes. Technically, no. Okay. The thing is Middlestat has potential. He was a young draft pick. He was someone that Colorado wanted to work with, but yet it gets them like Charlie Coyle basically gets them somebody to focus on right now. Beautiful aspect, beautiful like things that you got to focus on. There's nothing wrong with that because that's actually what you want. Middlestat gives you someone to grow with. You're not going to spend $6, $7, $8 million on them. You're not going to get like a full line of work, but you could get a good second or a third line guy. You may, depending upon how you train him, how you do everything with him, you may even get a first line guy. So there's a bonus of that deal. Plus, you're sending a 2026 for a 2025 draft pick. Okay, you're sending a fifth round, which unless you're Bill Belichick, nobody cares about the fifth round. It's just business. Okay, so you're sending a fifth round versus a second round. This is where you get the muscle, the beef, the everything you want in a Boston player is right there in that. So I can't disregard this. It sucks losing Charlie Coyle. However, Charlie really didn't do himself any favors this year. One of the reasons why the Bruins are struggling, one of the reasons why they're losing a lot of pieces. Can't cut the mustard? Wonder why. You know, when you look at a lot of clout within what your expectation is with the club, one of the things I personally even expect is you've got to carry the spoke beat properly. Does not mean to the fact you go out there, you're lazy. If you have an A on your shirt, you have to carry yourself. If you have a C on your shirt, you have to carry yourself. If you're not doing that, then there's something wrong in Denmark that you are not producing properly. Hello, we've talked about this. But either which way, listen, it allows Charlie to start over, start fresh, start anew, basically get his mindset. Is his wife happy about it? Is Charlie happy about it? Probably not, because I don't think he wanted to leave the Bruins, and I don't think he was actually hoping to, like, have this per se. But does this allow the Bruins to actually grow a little bit? Yes. Does it allow them to function properly within getting a couple guys that are a little bit different, that have to prove themselves, carry themselves into the team, and make sure to the fact like what you want is coming out of them? Yes, you do. So Will Zealous, I really didn't have like a lot of information on. Middlestat, though, like I said, he's the middle of the line guy. He's not going to be like, your up and coming star. Is there a chance he could be? Sure. There's a chance he could like develop into that. You're not saying no, but you don't want to also say yes, because if you're hyping yourself up to say the yes and it becomes no, who's the boob? Not this guy. Let's talk about the other one. Brandon Carlo. He was another one that, like, I'm sitting there looking at my phone, and oh crap. Oh, look, Brandon Carlo's on the move. This is wonderful. I wonder what kind of craptastic voyage we got for this guy. This is all basically Ben Craptastic voyages. And I'll tell you why afterwards. And then I'll tell you like a little bit of like, I want to, I at some point want to like introduce a segment of read Bruins comments. I really do. Because there's a lot of things and I want to write them down. I want to take screenshots. These are fans that talk about the team that I don't even think they know about the team. Like, these are guys that, like, they sit at a urinal, like, whip their pee-pee out and sit there. Oh, man, that Swayman can't stop my piss from going in the toilet. He sucks so bad. Are you hearing yourself? Not saying that that's an actual thing, but it's close. I want to find it because, oh man, I died, and then my phone closed and I couldn't find it afterwards. Some guy literally stated he could shit a brick and fire it, and it would go past Swayman. Translation, he can't stop shit. But he can. When you also break down within everything, this is where the Carlo aspects happens. Brendan Carlo went to Toronto. Now, I know to the fact that I'm gonna Google this really quickly. But there was somebody that so they compared Brandon Carlo to Dougie Hamilton. And the first thing I said is, Dougie Hamilton sucks. Doug Hamilton was supposed to be this real big, holier than thou dude that's supposed to carry the team, be like that big defenseman. He's supposed to get into the play. He was also supposed to work with Torrey Krug and make this whole wing thing happen. I have to adjust this. Did he do it? Anyone? He did not do it. And we just basically laughed because Dougie Hamilton was a piece of crap. Did he go to another team? Anyone? He did go to another team, and he's still a piece of crap. He is currently 31 years of age, looks like an absolute tool goblin, and he plays defense for the New Jersey Devils. What does that state? He sucks. That's what that says. Okay? This man played for the Bruins in 13, the Flames in 15, the Hurricanes in 18, and now he's playing the Devils since 2021. He makes $3.3 million, and he is a suckfest if I've ever seen a suckfest. God, I wish I had a picture loaded right now, because Dougie, yeah, I don't know what to say about you. But for somebody to literally look at me and compare Brandon Carlo to Dougie Hamilton, first off, watch some hockey, please. Brandon Carlo has a little bit more to his game. He's got a little bit more physicality, and there is sometimes he does not show it. To compare him to Dougie Hamilton is, what is the wrestling term? SWAFT? Soft? Yes. Don't compare him to Dougie. Dougie is, he is the most undeniable turd bag that you would want to ever look at for defense. And there was at one point I defended Dougie Hamilton because it's like, oh man, he's going to grow into his own. No, wait. No, he didn't. He looked like trash. He looked like garbage. Who cared? I stopped. I didn't. It's okay. So, where does this put everything else? Where you're looking at what you basically have and what you got. It basically puts a whole dampener on what you think that everybody is going into. It's just kind of like a kick in the pants, you know. Here's everything that you've basically been doing. Here's the breakdown of it. And at the end of the day, who's really, the sad aspect of this? Well, Brandon Carlo was promised the world with Boston, henceforth why he signed the big contract. What has he really gotten out of Boston? Not a lot. This year, was Carlo doing a lot to actually give? No, not really. He did look like a little bit of a space cadet. He did look like he was completely off base within the grounds, and it didn't look like he was wanting to be there. So what do you have to do? You have to address that, whether it being a 1-year thing. But did he have moments like this last year? Yeah. When your top defenseman is not adjusting properly and you're not holding your own, there were a couple really good games that Dougie Hamilton had. But did it translate into what it should have been? No, it didn't. So what do? Well, first off, why did we sign this guy for so much money? It happened. Okay, now what do we do with it? Adjust. Here's the adjustment. We're going to send Carlo over to Toronto for Fraser Minton. Do not ask. His name is Minton. Okay? I actually thought the way it was Fraser Mignon. I was going to have a good filet mignon joke, and it just kind of went right out the wayside. So, to that, it's just there. It is. I mean, I could probably put a filet mignon right up there and be like, food. I'm really not. But here's the beauty part. So they send Carlo over to Toronto. So Toronto trades a 2026 first round pick. What was that? Yes. 2026 first round pick. Top 5. Which I believe it's a restricted top 5. It's restricted top 5. It's basically guaranteed a good pick. Whether or not you pick a good player out of it, that's a really good question. And then you get a 2025 fourth rounder. So you basically got 2 draft picks, a player, and you traded away Brandon Carlo. Okay, cool. I'm on board with this, I think. Actually, I am. Because with Carlo's decline, it's one of 2 things. It's a coaching issue. It's he's not happy. Something's going on. Or just all within itself. Nope, right there. There's something that just doesn't seem right. So what do you got to do? You got to address that. You've got to adjust it. You've got to address it. And you've got to make it fit. So if Carlo isn't having that type of, thing, then you also have to, you got to give it up. So I'm looking at this really quick, and ESPN does say Minton or Mignon, which now I'm going to call him Mignon. I don't care. Is the centerpiece. He doesn't have much NHL experience, but all the makings are there for him to be a consistent 2-way forward. As Boston trends younger and rebuilds, it will give Minton an opportunity to grow within one organization that could keep him on for years to come. Does anybody remember the last time we did a trade with Toronto? One notable young kid. Wasn't sure like who he was going to be. All of you basically complained about him. I believe we were sending Andrew Raycroft, which was a top tier goalie, or just a NHL experienced goalie, for a guy named Rask. Yeah. Just drafted, up and coming kid, was going to be probably the best of the best of the best with honors. And had a illustrious career that Boston fans basically blew smoke, kicked, screamed, hollered, and thought, hey, man, this guy's garbage. Ended up being a top-tier goalie in the league. Ended up also being a top-tier goalie for Boston. But he didn't close out. The whole team doesn't close out. ESPN also rated this a B+. So Toronto traded 2 guys, a defenseman and a forward, over to the Penguins for future considerations, just to hold up the roster space so they can actually pull them in. That, to me, the Leafs getting Carlo, you got to see where that grows. And it's the same thing with Minton right now. Minton, a young, up-and-coming prospect, does he have the capabilities maybe in like a year or 2? So do you have him down in Providence? Do you have him up here? Do you have him like doing, big boy things, small boy things? That's going to be a very good stepping stone. Am I happy about this? I'm okay. I'm okay. Here's why. You take away of Carlos' contract a little bit. Great. Then you also take a little bit of Coyle's contract, which, like I said, Coyle was not acting very Coyle-ish. Never going to say that word again. But between them both, a change of scenery needed? Yes. Different than Montgomery? Yeah. And I think that was a given. This was, you took away our coach, you did like one or two things, we don't feel complete anymore, and it went right down the locker room. I don't care what Pasternak comes out and says, like, oh yeah, we got to be a team, we got to be this. Step up, make people accountable, show to the fact of what you are, and at least make sure to the fact that people are doing what they need to do. This is part of what you're doing. But of course, the coup d'etat of the give up was the captain. And I don't know how I even felt about this. So you have a man who's 16 years into being a Bruin, and he's traded. So that's a report from before. But here's the breaking point that like always got to me, and this is things that I have to look at. I sat here last time when I was healthy and I was doing okay, and I sat here and I said, when I had this twerp bag and I was going over some of the audio, one of the things I played was how he wanted to address the Marchand contract, how he was addressing him being a Bruin for life, whether you were going to do everything. And this is basically where like it actually reads, because when you trade Marchand to the Florida Panthers, this isn't like trading Ray Bourque to the Colorado Avalanche just because they're not making contention, but Colorado is rocking right now. There's a huge difference. This was, you decided to take Brad and throw him right into everything. And you just basically called it a day. So Boston receives a second round pick from Marchand. This is what I wanted to say. It has a chance to become a first rounder if the Panthers win 2 rounds in the playoffs and he plays 50% of their postseason games. And I forgot, like, one of the things was Trent Frederick was also sent to Edmonton. Now that I'm actually looking at this, Justin Brazeau went to Minnesota, and Mark McLaughlin went to New Jersey. There's patterns that I see, and it's one of the reasons why, like, I got the photo up, and like I look at, Sweeney looking so nonchalant and disappointing. Did he pull off decent trades? I'm not going to lie. You got like a pretty decent haul. Do I trust him to do anything with it? No. Like, I have a feeling that he's going to, like, let me break this really quick before, like, anybody gets mad at me, judges me, or anything like that. The first thing I've heard, like, over the countless times of, like, the whole week is fire Neely, fire Sweeney. Just because your favorite player went out the door doesn't mean you got to fire the guy that did it. There's a reason for it. Okay? Why did he get rid of Marchand? Why? Because according to a lot of people, contract negotiations that were supposed to be like this, so close together, are like this. I'm sorry, I would have killed for Marshy to be a Bruin for life. I would have. But when you're talking like centimeters to get a deal done and nobody wants to break, and then you look at everything, it's like, how bad was it really? It's like, no, it was more like yards. So who wasn't doing the due diligence? Was it Brad because he literally thought he was worth everything and a half? Brad bleeds for this team. And there's two things I can see that would make sense. For somebody to tell me that he was looking for an absorbent amount of money, he knows what Bergeron got paid. He knows what Krejci got paid to come back to Boston. He also knows what Zdeno Chara, who's in the front office now, he also knows what he got offered before he walked out the door. And also knowing to the fact of what Chara got in other deals. That's one of the things. Can you judge that? No. So do I think Brad's sitting there like, give me $5 million. Give me $5 million. If you really think that Brad Marchand is sitting there saying, give me $5 million, I can't believe that. Until somebody shows me in writing to the fact that Brad Marchand walked in the door and said, give me $5 million. Give me $5 million. He's worth $6 million because he's coming at the end of the road in his contract. Great, cool, grand, wonderful. Is he playing to the potential of the $6 million? No. Does he know this? Yes. Is he injured? Could it happen more? Have I been saying this whole time to the fact that Marchand is a first line guy anymore? No. Is he a good hockey player? Yes. Should he be on the team? Double yes. Should he be in the first line? No. No. Why? Because you need to put him with somebody in case he gets hurt. You need young, strong, upfront guys that are going to get this done. Listen, there was a point where Bergeron was starting to break down, and I saw this 2.5 years ago. When Bergie started his breakdown, it made Marchand look quicker. It made him look more agile. It made him look like he wanted to get to certain places. Why? Because he was 34. He had strength. He had stamina. He had the ambition. He had the carry. He had the do. He wasn't as old as he is now at 37 years old, pushing, injuries, etc., making the outer limits of everything that goes on. There is something that you need to adjust and adapt. Can the Bruins do this without him? That's a good question. Did the Bruins want to sign him? I have a feeling that's exactly what it was. Is it within this stage? Yeah. Is it something that like needs to be addressed? Yes. What happened? Where did the breakdowns go? Did the breakdowns go with Marchand? Did it go for Sweeney? Did Neely step in? These are questions you have to ask. Why? Before you go firing anybody, what happened? Did Sweeney walk in the door and say, I don't want to sign Brad? Like, listen, he's got to go his separate ways. He's got to go everything. Is Charlie Jacobs going to sit there and go like, yeah, just get rid of him? No. Charlie Jacobs is going to want what's best for the team, but he's also going to look at players like Brad. Is there a way we can save him? Throw him on the fourth line, not pay him a lot. Is there a way we can carry him in some way, shape, or form with having some young guys? Can we do this? Because that's also what Neely's going to do. How can we adjust this? How can we fix this? If there's no way to fix it, then yes, we have to pull the trigger. But what are we going to do with it? Between the conference that I heard about the trade deadline and everything that they were working on with Marchand versus now, it seems like Sweeney didn't even try. So it's either he pitched his best pitch and came up short like a car salesman trying to sell a Thunderbird to a woman with 5 children. I don't got no bones there, buddy. This is what your team is. And here's the beauty part. I watched the past 2 Bruins games. Since the trades, they won. What does that say? Something wasn't vibing with what you had. Whether it be Frederick, whether it be Brazeau, whether it be Coyle, whether it be McLaughlin, whether it be Marchand himself. Something didn't fit. Those names, you can sit there and question, well, what was going on? And was that Sweeney's plan all along? I'm going to get rid of one of these guys that doesn't belong on the team, that has been the constant failure of this team throughout the year. I want to get a return for him, and I want to be able to hold that and not throw him under the bus and make him a bad example of something. That could be the case. Is it a bad thing? No. Because what if it is Marchand? What if the minute that Bergeron was not around anymore, Marchand turned into another person? Okay? You heard about the stuff with him and Pastrnak. You heard about stuff between him and Swayman. You heard about everything that's basically been going on. Could it have been a negative buildup that caused this team to have an issue? There's a lot of things that you always want to say, I don't believe it. I don't want to believe it. I'm not going to believe it. Is that a possibility of something happening like that? Yeah. Can you blame him? Maybe. Maybe it could have been Don Sweeney saying something that rubbed him the wrong way. Maybe it's to the fact that he's not on the ice with Bergeron anymore that just makes him feel like he's got a lot on his plate after taking the captaincy. You know, is there anything else that can affect this. And that's where you have to look. That's where your questions lie. How is that going to do something that is going to make you better and not tarnish a legacy of 16 years with a person that's been on your team? As much as I rip in to the chocolate whizwag that is Don Sweeney. Why do they just move? Okay. There we go. When it comes down to that, am I blaming him? No. Did I want to yell and scream at him? Yeah. There's a lot to actually go on. And here's one of the things. You got to name a new captain. So Sweeney says he's going to honor the aspect and the legacy of Brad being on the team. So he's not going to add another captain this year. When the start of the year starts, would it be David Pastrnak? Would it be Charlie McAvoy? Would it be somebody else to rise from the ashes and become a captain? I got to look at this. 92.9 the ticket actually did. I thought to the fact that they actually. Oh yeah. Who should be the next captain of the Boston Bruins? They recommend David Pastrnak. 11 years on the team. Everything else. Then they talk about Charlie McAvoy. And then they said other that's on the current roster. And then there's the bottom one, which is he's not on the team yet. So who could literally be, you got to look at who could carry this, I mean, one of the guys I'd even be looking at, now that I'm looking who's available. I mean, I don't think Elias Lindholm. He just misses a lot of things. Pasta's got this little bit of a. I think it's going to put him a little bit further than what he should be. Pavel Zacha, which he himself has been, he's 27 years old. He's basically been up and coming. He joined the Bruins in 22. He's been on the team for 2 years. Does he have a little bit more swing with how he's been presenting himself? Yes. Could I see him as that guy? Maybe. Mason Lorelei. He's a young kid. No, he joined the Bruins in 23. He's got a little bit to his game that I like, that I think adds a little bit more character. And I think between the remainder of the year, and especially within the Panthers game that I saw him play, he looks a little different. Now, could it be within moments of McAvoy not being on the team right now because he's injured? With the minusing of Carlo? Is this a time for Lorelei to step up and shine and show to the fact that he might be something more than just your basic kid? If that be the case, wonderful. Show it. If you're looking for a young up and coming kid that can carry a C for a while, I think Mason Lorelei could be that guy. That's me. McAvoy, he's got good leadership. I don't think he's got captain leadership. I think the A works fine. Pasternak the same way. I just don't like the way he leads by mentioning certain things. I think you can leave that out. And other than that, I can't see. I can't really see anybody else probably taking it. Maybe John Peacher. You know? But again, he's younger than Lorelei. You know, you're going to be so much younger. Andrew Peakey could even take it. But there's just something about Peakey that I just don't. He's a first year Bruin. I don't. There's just something about his game that it just seems off. You know, like most of the things that I'm looking at. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a fight for captaincy. And I don't think I'd want to see like where it goes, because if it goes somewhere you're not really caring about, that's going to be a full-fledged issue. Oh, good God. To Bruins talk we go, and everything else in between. I'd love to like sit there and just think to the fact that like everything's gonna be all right. I'm at the nervous stage. And yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to look at me and like wonder like why I'm at the nervous stage, like I'll tell you why I'm at the nervous stage. Like, you had so many years and methods of getting young guys and bringing them up and adjusting with them and putting them in the places they needed to be. You went through coach after coach after coach, trying to make sure. And even when you changed a coach, fit a coach into a right spot, got everything situated, you didn't go backwards. This is the first year you've made it 5 steps back than what you've done. You've kind of like, when you're going up the stairs, new coach, you take a step back. So now you're down 1 step. But you go back to the playoffs. You carry yourself. You're still in the game. You make those 2 more steps. You go to it. This is just like, I dropped the box, kind of stumbled down 15 stairs, and now like I'm sitting there looking up going, why do I feel blood in my shoe? These are things you have to wonder. Is it something that sits in me? No. But That's how I'm going to talk about it. But to the talk of the town, those guys. Yeah, we transitioned. We did it so freely. And we're spending money. So, where the Bruins are trying to control money and basically drop a couple things, get some prospects going, do a 1 year, hey, this is out the door, let's see how next year goes. In comes Vrabel and company to deliver. Oh my God. I can't even tell you. But the 2025 offseason has just been absolutely ridiculous. But Mike Vrabel, and even if Elliott Wolf is with them, they're not stopping. They're not, oh, hey, we've got money, so now we're not going to spend it. We're going to pull it, collect it, and stroke it, and pat it. You're naughty little thing. You're naughty. Yeah, Chris Farley, I love you. All right. So to get on point, man's out spending. So what does he do? Welcome in Harold Landry III, a linebacker. 3-year, $43.5 million deal with the Patriots, $26 million guaranteed. That's a lot of cheddar. So, what does this do? Well, the Patriots were 28th in sacks last year. That is completely unseen, completely unheard of, nothing you want to actually get into. Oh my God. Do you want to actually have a little bit more in the road for what you're looking at? So with Mike Vrabel and Terrell Williams, you want to be a little bit more aggressive. Okay? Terrell Williams especially. He's going to want that. He's going to want those guys. He wants someone who can sit there, someone who can attack, someone who can make waves, make everything happen. And it's not going to be like one of those things that you're just going to sit there and call for the sideline. No, you have to get somebody in there. Harold Landry is one of those guys. Okay. So did he play for him in Tennessee from 2018 to 23? Yes. Okay. Landry being released on March 7th just basically gets it in. So looking at this feedback, what's the risk here? Well, Landry had an ACL tear in his right knee, and that was in 2022. He's totaled 19.5 sacks since coming back, which is the 23 season, and also the 24 season. So if you even cut that in half, that is almost 10 sacks per year. Almost. But they're curious if he has the same go. He's 29. Defensively, you're going to be a powerhouse when you get older. It's just how the ACL interacts with it and how it's going to hold. That's going to be a good question. So let's keep Landry in the ideal because there could be some bonuses. But now we've got Robert Spillane. Wait, just signed another linebacker. What the heck? So Spillane just took a 3-year, $37 million contract. So he got strong in everything with the past 2 seasons with the Raiders. He started every game, 173 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 11 defended passes. His first 5 seasons, he was the backup. For Vrabel's first year as a head coach, well, Landry broke in as an undrafted free agent. It's basically who Vrabel knows, what you can work with, and where you're going to look at. So, what's the benefit on this? He's smaller and lighter. So it's not following the old Bill Belichick like method, like where you got like the big beef. He's small and agile. So he's nimble. Great. So it would also show that you're going faster. You're going more aggressive. You're doing a lot more into it. The risk with this is you're basically doing a 2-year. You're basically doing a 3-year deal, $37 million. You're overpaying for a linebacker that he signed a 2-year, $7 million deal with the Raiders in 23. He's now 30 years old. But again, 30-year-old linebacker. They've got the goods. But let's change it up a little bit. We go into a little bit more defense still. Carlton Davis III. So we've got Joe Milton III, Harold Landry III, Carlton Davis III. Why don't we go more into some guy the third, Henry the third, Bob Backlund the third, Henry the eighth. That guy sucks. No, let's go Henry the third. Thirds all around for what this team wants. So Davis is actually on a 3-year, $60 million contract. Okay. It's $34.5 million fully guaranteed. He holds the number 2 corner spot right next to Christian Gonzalez. So now you've got probably on paper, I will say this. With Carlton Davis on one side and Christian Gonzalez on the other, I would fear throwing a ball in the general direction as a quarterback. You're going to get one guy, 2 guy. This is exactly what you need in order to bump, drop, and effectively shut down Miami. Because Tua is going to want to throw to one, he's going to want to throw to the other, and you've got the 1-2 combo with the linebackers. This is what you needed to do to pick this up. One is 28. The other one's 25? Not far-fetched. Davis has got his 8th season in the NFL. He hasn't played a full regular season, but he makes his presence known, which is exactly what you want. Davis also has a background with Terrell Williams, who was the Lions defensive line coach in 24 and Davis's lone season in Detroit. So keep the guys that you know, bring them in. You know they can work with you. They know they can function with you. They can do everything you need to. And that's what you need to focus with. This is the one that kind of kicks me a little bit, though. Morgan Moses as an OT. This is an offensive tackle who signed a 3-year, $24 million contract. He's 34 years old. Yep. You heard me right. 34. So the younger options, which would have been Dan Moore, went from the Steelers to the Titans, and Jalen Moore, who went from the Niners to the Chiefs. I would have loved Jalen Moore. They took deals averaging 20 and 15 million per season. Those guys are still developing players. So you gotta understand where you're signing them. You're signing them for their youth and their mobility. You're not signing them for their experience. With Moses, there's no question about development. He's more of a pure right tackle. So he takes pressure off Caden Wallace. This way you can work on his development. You can also have a veteran presence right there. Hey, Caden, this is what I learned. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm affecting it. What's that going to do? It's going to strengthen Caden Wallace up. It's going to give him everything he needs. That's what you want to see. Okay. Moses played in 166 career games, 158 career starts. He's got durability, and where the Patriots are hoping he stays strong, healthy, everything good. He did navigate his way through a sprained MCL last year, and that was with the Jets, and he had a torn pectoral muscle with the Ravens in 23. So you're looking at 2 injuries. You're also looking at 2 years prior. Is there more upside than downside? Yes. Training. Even if Moses gets injured, and like I said, Caden Wallace has to step in. Is Moses right there to go over with him? Listen, this is where you did. Your feet weren't planted. You didn't have your body right. You didn't have this. Try this. Do this. Adjust here. Make this happen. That's what I want to see out of them. So, the Moses signing, good. Milton Williams. Now, he is the highest paid player on the team. Williams, of course, 26. You're pairing him with Christian Barmore. However, as long as he's healthy. Williams comes in from Philly. So he's just won a ring. Williams brings 5 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, 7 tackles for loss last season. This is basically what Vrabel is building. He's building your wall. I don't mean to bring it as a political joke, but this is basically, with Christian Barmore, if he's still sidelined, this is a guy at 26 years old. He's got the youth. He's got the experience. He's got everything he's going. This is where you hit him in. And this is where you're hoping to the fact he could take the workload. Okay? He had 7 starts last season. Will he adapt to that workload? He played 48% of the defensive snaps in 24. Premium payment, showing the growth. 5th season in the NFL. Can he do it? Well, This is where you'll have to step in and like actually look. Now here's a weird signing. Joshua Dobbs. Joshua Dobbs is a quarterback. Dobbs agreed to a 2-year, $8 million deal. $3.8 million is guaranteed. So now you got 3 quarterbacks. Congratulations. You got Joe Milton III, you got Drake May, and now you got Joshua Dobbs. The addition of Dobbs is showing the Patriots have another option at the position should it present itself, and especially if someone is looking for a quarterback in Joe Milton. Now, can you adjust Joe Milton? Maybe. Maybe sneak plays, maybe certain things that like you might be able to do. However, the one thing that stings me is the Patriots buying high with Dobbs. So this is an $8 million deal with $3.8 million guaranteed. It's 2 years, so if you basically divide it, the man's getting paid $4 million a year to be a backup. He was 1 year, $2.25 million with San Francisco. You don't say no to the extra money, just give it and walk away. Khyiris Tonga. So he's got a 1 year, $2.7 million deal. It's modest. It's easy. It's his 4th team in 5 NFL seasons. Do you have to adjust with a lot of things? Yes. He's played 27% of the defensive snaps last season for the Cardinals. He's got 22 tackles because of it. With the Patriots trading Devin Godchar to the Saints, Tonga would be part of the group to fill the void. That also takes up from Milton Williams. Is that a bonus? It is a possibility. Do you have to look at the risks and the factors? If Tonga can fit the play style, that's all that matters. You get the job done, you do everything you need to. That's basically where you're going with it. But here's a little bit of a bonus. Mac Hollins. He is a wide receiver, 2-year deal, $8.4 million. He's a depth option receiver. He had 31 catches, 378 yards, 5 touchdowns last season. He was also playing special teams. He's not the number 1 guy. Probably not a number 2 guy. But his physical traits that go into it lead this to where Vrabel's vision of the Patriots may be the best options. Okay? He's got his 9th season. His most productive, he played for Joshy Poo. Yep. 57 catches, 690 yards, 4 touchdowns with McDaniels. Now, you can sing the song Reunited and it feels so good. Why? Because a lot of guys are doing this. Mac Hollins coming in. You've got Harold Landry, Spillane, Davis. All of them have either been touched via Vrabel or anything within that manner, but it's full circle to where Vrabel is the epitome of what you're looking at in this team. He's putting together guys he's worked with. Can you falter that? Nope. Why? Comfort is job 1. Why is comfort job 1? Well, if you're going to build the culture You need the guys for the culture. If you're going to build a winning team, culture takes precedent. And if you and everybody around you feels comfortable with these guys are going to come in where the other guys who have been here and go, I don't know if I feel right about this. Dude, we got you. Coaches got you. Coaches got you. Let us do our work. Let us do what we need to do. Let us do our carry. End it there. The show of the proof is right there in the pudding. That's why you work with guys who you've done before, like who you've worked with before. What does that do? Builds up the character, builds up the muster. Can there be flaws and everything like that falls apart? God, yes. Okay? You got to remember, this was the end of Belichick, the beginning and end of Mayo, and now the reign of the Vrabel. Have people talked about Mike Vrabel failing already? Yes. Have they talked about this being a product that is not going to deem well on the field? Yes. Are also people starting to come around that this may be a damn good team? Yes. Depends on what you're getting. Depends on what you're suiting up with. Now, if you're sitting there eyeballing an A.J. Brown because you want to get him away from the Eagles, that's going to be a challenge. I know you are eyeballing T. Higgins. You've got an eyeball in Cooper Kupp for when he drops down. There's a lot of give and take that you're looking for that are going to be fuel to the fire for this team to succeed. That's what I need to see. That's where I need to be at. That's what I want to feel, that functionality. If this team is going to be a carrying team or if it's just going to be a waste of dead space or dead cap. Because remember, you're signing all these guys to big lucrative deals. Dropping them, not an issue. It's the money that they hold. C1 Aaron Rodgers. Here's a signing, though, that like I feel absolutely perfect with. Austin Hooper. I thought he was phenomenal as a backup tight end to not only Drake May, but to counteract Hunter Henry on the field. Is this going to be a little bit different now the fact that Josh McDaniels is here? I'm going to say this. There's one thing that Josh McDaniels took, and it was to the fact of knowing when you have two tight ends that can do enough damage, you use them. And if you have the two tight end set, you can use them. You have weaponry. You have a blocker that needs to be blocked. You have a wide receiver that needs to get out there. That's the beauty part of a two-man tight end set. He was the Patriots' number 2 tight end, which is where you basically want to be. 45 receptions, 476, 3 TDs. He played 52 of the offensive snaps. His presence, though, this is where you have the options. It gives McDaniels more flexibility to run the tight end sets. If he's healthy, if he holds down, Josh McDaniels is going to take huge advantage of that. Is that what you want to see? Yes. Why? 2 tight ends. Which one's open? Hooper also made a close bond with fellow tight end Hunter Henry, and belief in the promise of quarterback Drake May were driving factors in him resigning before pursuing other options. You also do have three other guys on your depth chart in the tight end department: Yaheem Bell, Jack Westover, Giovanni Ricci. If Austin Hooper has connection with Drake May and Hunter Henry, you don't break that. Until this man says, nope, I don't want to be here, leave the connection and let it go. Let it fly. Okay? It's basically a $4 million guarantee. The primary risk is financial. Okay? He got a $3 million deal for 1 year last year. Okay? 2.4 of it was guaranteed. This is $4 million. It's basically, here you go, play your ball. If we want to cut you, we cut you. But like, you're basically flying off the radar. And before I actually wrap it, I'll tell you the story that I told, that I said I was going to do. The Rams look like they're releasing Cup. Rodgers is a free agent. Who knew that was happening? This guy. Okay, here's a wonderful thing, and it'll pose a problem for Brock Purdy. Mac Jones, who wanted an opportunity to work with Kyle Shanahan, agreed to terms with the 49ers on a 2-year deal worth $7 million. 5 guaranteed. So you're signing a kid that wants to work with Kyle Shanahan. So if Brock Purdy doesn't sign, or there's an issue with anything going forward, or Purdy gets injured, your backup is Mac Jones. And here's the even kick of this. Mac Jones didn't go anywhere because he wanted the money. He wanted to go because he wanted to play with Kyle Shanahan. So Kyle Shanahan just took a 26-year-old that, if retrained, recoordinated properly, that $7 million deal could look like a steal. And the Jaguars went 2-5 in his starts. Okay, cool. He completed 65% of his passes. He had 1,600 yards. He's 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I don't want to hear anything. He played for the Jags. Okay? You want... Here. Let me see if I can find something that'll... There we go. Here we go. This basically... Nope, not that one. Well, it might have to be that one. I'm going to show you guys basically what this is and why it is. Look. If I can only purely find it. Everything else I downloaded. Ah, there it is. That was the Jaguars last year. Am I saying that that's going to happen? No. Could the Jaguars be better? Ew, that's another day for another time of talking. Am I looking at Mac Jones to be like the immaculate quarterback? No. But could he be halfway decent? Sure. It's kind of like when you get like the new edition of who's the quarterback going to be in Indianapolis? Is it going to be Daniel Jones or is it going to be, Anthony Richardson? So Jones, first off, he got 14 million to be a possible backup for the Colts. And now it's Jones and Richardson are basically going to go back and forth for the starting job. Stupid. But you know the one I'm happy about and I'm really scared of? So Aaron Rodgers, as I told you, got dumped. Oh. So you went from the Jets went from 41-year-old Ben Gay, Aaron Rodgers, who I knew to the fact that they shouldn't have traded for him. Lose your draft capital for a guy like that. Yes, he can hold and win games, but do you really want to push the issue? Lord friggin' no. But the Jets, being the dumpster fire they are, decided that's what we want to do. We want to be pretty good, and we want to get this done. So now New York has stated, okay, well, we need a quarterback because we just dropped this guy. And we need to get somebody fast. I would have laughed if they got Mac Jones originally. That would have been that would have been poetry. Because just for him to come in and beat the bag out of the Patriots and then watch Robert Kraft try to hug him and think he's the bee's knees, that would have made me laugh a little bit. Personally. Instead, I'm looking at this, and New York goes and signs Justin Fields. 2 years, $40 million, 30 guaranteed. So you're desperately paying this guy who can't figure out his place as for being whatever the hell he is. He can't put himself in the place of what his expectation is, where he's going to be, but instead, this is what you want. Okay. This is why, besides the fact of what I'm looking at with the Jaguars being a dumpster fire, because last year was horrible. Now you're basically having, Justin Fields getting $40 million. It's basically like somebody looking at me and they're going, "Oh, hey, you can talk. You're opinionated. We're gonna give you $1 million, and just to make sure that you can handle yourself, we're gonna give you 600,000 right up front. Take it. It's yours." Now, if I bomb, I got 600 million. I just don't get the other 4. I mean, 600,000. What the hell am I saying? Somebody correct me, for Christ's sakes. But yeah, if you sign me to a $1 million contract for the next year, 600,000 guaranteed to me. That means 400,000 left on the table that I can earn if I do certain things. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's get it done. Make people happy. But now if I don't, and we're 3 months in, I got 9 months to go. You're not seeing any changes. You're not seeing anything. You dump me. Cool. I didn't like you anyway. But by the way, thanks for the 600K. The only thing you're keeping is 400K. You know how silly that is? Justin Fields is getting $20 million a year. But what's the beauty? Here's $30 million in guarantees. Now, here's the other thing. The Jets have Tyrod Taylor. Do you bench Justin Fields for how much he's making? No. And I will say this after looking at him last year. Is there more upside with what you look at with Justin Fields now, considering how he was able to work a little bit with Chicago, but then going into Pittsburgh, a very hard team, and not only hold down the respect and admiration of the players there, but now you got something else to look forward to. This is where I can literally sit here and give the Jets proper praise, because I think they did it right. You know? And I'm just really excited for having this aspect, because this is probably going to be a very good, very bold move. And it's what I'm expecting. And what's it going to also do, and why am I talking about this so much? It's very, very easy. Mike Vrabel and the Patriots versus the Jets and their coach. And you're now adding Justin Fields, who used to be Garrett Wilson's teammate. You know, you have so much to look at now. And there's a huge build within what you're doing. I have a feeling you're going to see more of that rivalry between the Patriots and the Jets because it's going to come down to supremacy. And if I have my way of looking at this, which sometimes I do, I really think I'm really thinking to the fact that the Bills will hold their own. The Jets and the Patriots are going to submerge out of their holes and start looking better. Now, whether or not they start toting wins, that's another story. But do I have faith in Miami? No. If I'm looking at this division with everything that they're carrying, who do I have more faith in? Well, the Bills. But are the Jets and the Patriots in realistic time? I know to the fact that right up there is the Patriots, and I know also to the fact that we've got the Patriots right there. That's the team. And you can root for the team all you want. But when it breaks down to it, you still have to know your opponent. Is there a possibility of the fact that like the Patriots could have an issue going forward playing the Jets, playing the Bills? Yes. Could the Jets and the Bills be a little bit better than the Patriots? Possibly. Could the Patriots be a little bit better than the Jets and the Bills? Yes. Do I think to the fact that either one of those three teams is going to be better than Miami? No. That's just my observation. That's my option. I'll keep it to where it is. But do I have moments of what I'm looking at? Am I seeing like what I'm doing? Yeah. So I've got to look at it in every which way, shape, or form. So that's where it is. This is how I feel. And that's where I'm going to call it a night. So before I do, okay, let's get rid of this. Nope. Is it this one? Okay. Nope. There we go. All right. So comic conventions are all over the place. And to me, I enjoy working them because, like, I bring comic books, I bring a lot of collaborations and everything I do. The one thing I basically do, though, is I like perusing around and seeing the landscape that is within these conventions. What does this do? It allows me to meet new people and like experience like some fancy stuff that basically goes on, things that I like. And what did I experience? Well, it was a little bit different. So the aspect is people know that I have my love for movies. I have like, my little quirks that I do where like I imitate like any movie just to like roll it into like what I'm talking about. Well, Cameron Fry, this one's for you. As I am sitting in a line for concessions, I wanted tater tots so badly. They always look good. They're right there. The hotel was making them. Yes. And I'm in line. There's a woman in front of me. There's another person in front of me. And I'm like, you know something? I'll wait. Those luscious tater tots are sitting right there. And then I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, hey, there's a pretzel. Hey, my business partner actually wanted the pretzel. Get her one pretzel. She's happy. And I know when you're sitting and like actually looking at the menu and you're thinking, do I want this? Do I want this? Do I want this with this? Do I want to do this? And like you're scheming. You're scheming for what you want to like add, what you want to do, how you want to present your. Ooh. I feel a presence behind me. As you know, when you're in line, you're sitting there, you're looking at the menu. You get the number 3 with the large fry. Do I want cheese? Do I want the carbs? And always when you're in line, you know when there is a person behind you. It's like clockwork. You know you're looking. You know you're comfortable. And all of a sudden you walk up and it's just that radiance of the other person, like that's right there. Well, I know someone's behind me, so of course what you got to do, you got to take your eyes off the menu and you got to do this. Whoa. Alan Ruck was right behind me. And to those of you who do not know who Alan Ruck is, you're too young for this podcast, get the fuck off. That's actually the first time I swore since like the beginning of it. That's actually impressive. No, to be brutally honest, Alan Ruck is a wonderful human being. And if you don't know who Alan Ruck is, you really need to like understand who he is. He is Alan Douglas Ruck. What is he known for? A lot. He was in Bad Boys in 1983. He was Cameron Fry in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was Henry Rollin Front in Young Guns 2. He was one of the weird guys in the Bus and Speed. He was Rabbit in Twister. In the movie Kicking It Old School, he was Dr. Cameron Fry. He was Mr. Cooverman and I Love You, Beth Cooper. He was himself in Don't You Forget About Me, which was a Canadian documentary film about John Hughes. He's been in so many things. He's also been in some TV. He's been in 4 episodes of Mad About You. He was in an old Tales of the Crypt episode from the 90s. He was in Picket Fences. You guys aren't going to know about those shows. He was in Boston Legal. You guys still aren't going to know about that. He was in CSI. He was in CSI Miami. He was Dr. Alan Beckham. He was in a show called Cougar Town. Nice. He played Frank Miller. He was in the show Bunheads. No idea what that is. He was in 3 episodes. He was Ward Davis in NCIS. It was the episode Gut Check. Cooper Bartlett's Guide to Surviving Life. He was Mark Bartlett. That was 2016. He was... Is there anything current? He was in The Dropout. There was 2 episodes. That was 2022. So he's got some love. He's got some love. But look him up. This man was standing next to me, and he wanted concessions. So what did I do? talked about concessions. And while I sat there talking about concessions, we were completely okay. And it was 8 minutes of talking with Alan Ruck. I did not once, until the end, bring up Cameron Fry. I did not bring up Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Why? Because like I had a conversation with somebody earlier. It's not about what they've done. It's the fact that they're human. Talk to them. Get to know them. Experience their stuff. So I learned about his boy. I learned about his daughter. And I learned about, like who he is as a human being. This man was kind, sincere. Not like some of the guys, oh, God, I'm at a convention. Oh, somebody's going to peg me. And he probably did that when he walked away, but he didn't show it. Those are people I like. Great. I loved the fact that I met Alan Ruck. My cousin would have been a fit. He would have been looking at me like, oh, dude, you met Cameron Fry. You would have been happy. Good little moments like that are what make things worth it. Just like I'm on here talking to nobody. I mean, the people are going to listen later. But I basically sat here talking to a light, talking to a wall, a couple things that are in front of me. And I just spewed whatever I wanted about the Bruins and the Patriots. The Celtics are doing all right. They're closing out games. They're making do with what they are. The Red Sox haven't even started yet. But I'm doing what I like. And I like that. So yes, meeting someone like, Alan Ruck, it's a good moment for me. Because it reminds me of certain times when, hey, I did grow up. I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It was one of my favorite movies. It's how you learned how to get out of school. And poor Cameron was sick. He was actually sick. Because, Cameron is so tight. If you stick a lump of coal up his ass, in 2 days, you have a diamond. I like moments. But this is also the moment where I have to end. Because we've had so much fun. And from me to everybody, I thank you for joining Boston Concessions. We're an SSBN podcast. We enjoy immensely everything about our pod. And for me, I'm very excited to the fact that over the course of the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a little bit more with the editing and everything like that you just saw today on YouTube. And it's going to be really, really great to actually kick this back in a notch and get some stuff moving within the betterment of the idea. So for me, I'm all enjoyment. You're going to hopefully hear more from me and hopefully my voice gets better. Because right now, this hurts. So if you're listening on Spotify and you want to actually get the verbiage and get the wind of everything I'm talking about, pop over to YouTube, Boston Concessions. You will find me. You will see my face. Please do not scream at the bus driver while you're listening to me. It is not right. However, if to the fact that you are low on battery, everything else, and you can just listen to what is going on, by all means, Spotify, iHeartRadio, look up Boston Concessions and you will find me. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you this episode with the Craptastic Voyage that has happened over the weekend and everything in between. And I'm always here. To me, I am your host, Topher. This has been Boston Concessions. It is the one, the only, and the amazing episode 10. It is brought to you by SSBN Small State Big Network. Go listen to the boys on their own pod and also follow them as they get right ready for March Madness. I'm probably not talking about that, but those boys are. So give them a follow. Small State Big Network. Small State Takes. They're the boys in Rhode Island, and they are absolutely beauties. So go give them some love while they actually love to focus on their March Madness, their betting, and everything in between. I myself am going to continue ranting, raving about everything Boston sports because it's basically what I do. Till then, until next time on Sunday, I will be here, and hopefully I have a little bit more to bring you. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, adieu, Auf Wiedersehen. I'm going to take a crap. I haven't said anything like that at all yet. This has been like the cleanest pod I did. So I'm going to go do that. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good whatever from listening to this episode. Take care, everybody.